The science behind Superman's powers. For decades, Superman has been one of the most iconic and beloved superheroes in comic books, movies, and pop culture. His ability to defy gravity, leap across tall buildings in a single bound, and possess superhuman strength has captivated generations. But what if we looked at Superman's powers through the lens of modern science? Could there be a scientific explanation for how a man from a distant planet could perform feats beyond human capabilities? Let's explore the science behind Superman's extraordinary powers. The birth of a hero. Clark Kent, born Kal-El on the planet Krypton, was sent to Earth by his parents before the destruction of his home planet. His spaceship crash-landed in Kansas, where he was found and adopted by the Kent family. Growing up on Earth, Kal-El developed unique abilities. The source of his powers lies in Earth's yellow sun, a stark contrast to the red sun of Krypton. Super strength. Superman's most famous power is his superhuman strength. He can lift massive objects like cars, buildings, and even entire continents. In scientific terms, strength is the result of muscle fibers contracting and generating force. But even the most well-trained human muscles have limits. So, how can Superman lift so much? The answer may lie in the way his cells function. Superman's Kryptonian physiology is adapted to Earth's environment, allowing him to generate far more muscle force than a human ever could. Imagine that his muscle fibers are made of a material far stronger than anything on Earth. This makes his body able to endure immense pressure and exert mind-boggling strength. Some theorists believe that the intense energy absorption from the Earth's yellow sun could be stored in his muscles, much like how solar panels store energy. With this energy, Superman's body could surpass human limitations, giving him the ability to lift objects far heavier than any human could ever manage. Flight. One of Superman's most awe-inspiring abilities is his power of flight. While humans rely on planes and jets to soar through the air, Superman can defy gravity entirely. But could this be scientifically possible? In physics, gravity is a force that attracts objects toward the center of the Earth. For an object to fly, it must generate lift that overcomes the force of gravity. Superman's flight is often explained by his ability to manipulate gravitational fields. One theory suggests that Superman might be able to manipulate the force of gravity around him, creating a counteracting force that allows him to hover, glide, and even accelerate at incredible speeds. It's possible that, as his cells absorb solar energy, Superman's body becomes a kind of biological superconducting engine. This could give him the ability to alter the gravitational pull around his body, effectively making him weightless and enabling him to fly. Heat vision. Another one of Superman's signature powers is his heat vision. By focusing his eyes, Superman can emit powerful beams of heat capable of melting steel, cutting through rock, and causing massive destruction. But how could this be possible? Heat vision could be explained by intense energy emission through his eyes. When Superman looks at an object with his heat vision, his cells may convert stored solar energy into a concentrated laser-like beam of heat. It's similar to how lasers work by focusing light into a small, intense spot. In Superman's case, the concentrated solar energy would generate enough heat to melt or burn anything in its path. In a more speculative sense, Superman's heat vision could be the result of his ability to manipulate electromagnetic radiation at will. His eyes could emit concentrated electromagnetic waves in the infrared spectrum, which would allow him to generate the intense heat. Super speed. Superman's speed is another hallmark of his superhero persona. He is fast enough to outrun bullets, race around the world, and even travel through time. In theory, if Superman were to run at high speeds, his body would need to overcome a host of obstacles. To move at the speed of light, the human body would have to avoid extreme friction and resistance. Superman's physiology must be adapted to counter these forces. One scientific explanation could be that his body is capable of creating a protective energy field around him, allowing him to break the sound barrier and beyond without damaging himself or the environment. Moreover, Superman's brain must process information at an incredible rate, enabling him to make split-second decisions. His nervous system, likely hyperefficient, can send signals at lightning-fast speeds, allowing him to respond to stimuli quicker than any human could. X-ray vision is one of the more bizarre powers that Superman possesses. By merely looking at objects, he can see through walls, clothing, and even the human body. But how could this power function from a scientific perspective? X-rays are a form of electromagnetic radiation that can penetrate solid objects. However, in order to generate X-rays, Superman would need a highly advanced ability to manipulate his body's energy fields. It's possible that his eyes are equipped with an energy conversion system that allows him to emit X-ray radiation. In this case, Superman's body might function like a living X-ray machine, capable of adjusting the intensity and focus of the beams. Alternatively, Superman might have the ability to sense the atomic structure of objects, interpreting them visually without emitting actual X-rays. His brain could process electromagnetic data at an incredibly advanced level, enabling him to see through objects the way a person sees light. The weakness: kryptonite. While Superman's powers are vast, they are not without their limits. His most famous weakness is kryptonite, a mineral from his home planet Krypton. Kryptonite has radiation properties that can weaken and even kill Superman. This could be explained by the idea that kryptonite radiates a form of energy that interferes with Superman's ability to absorb and process solar energy. Instead of empowering him, kryptonite could disrupt the biological processes within his cells, rendering him vulnerable. The role of solar energy: at the heart of Superman's incredible abilities lies the sun. The Earth's yellow sun radiates energy that Superman's cells can absorb and store, acting as a source of limitless power. This connection between the sun and Superman is key to his invincibility. As a Kryptonian, his biology is designed to absorb and convert solar radiation far more efficiently than humans can, granting him his superpowers. Conclusion: while the science behind Superman's powers might seem fantastical, a closer look reveals that his abilities could be explained by advanced physics and biology. By manipulating energy, gravity, and radiation, Superman's alien physiology adapts perfectly to the Earth's environment, allowing him to perform extraordinary feats. In the end, Superman may be the perfect combination of science and fantasy, a hero whose incredible powers are not so far out of reach when we consider the endless potential of science and the mysteries of the universe. The limits of science. Could Superman's powers really exist? As we delve deeper into the science of Superman's abilities, it becomes clear that while his powers are based on intriguing concepts of physics, biology, and energy, they still defy the laws of what we currently understand about the universe. In this next part, we'll explore the limits of science and whether or not such a being, one capable of bending the very rules of nature, could actually exist in reality. The problem of energy. One of the biggest questions surrounding Superman's powers is energy, specifically, the immense amount of energy required to fuel his abilities. If we consider that Superman's body is capable of lifting massive objects, traveling at the speed of light, and emitting heat vision powerful enough to melt steel, the question arises: how does his body produce and store this vast amount of energy? In the real world, energy conservation is a fundamental law of physics. This means that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only converted from one form to another. In Superman's case, the idea of him harnessing the energy of Earth's yellow sun seems plausible in theory, but the question remains: could his body really absorb that much energy without overloading or causing catastrophic damage? It's possible that the Kryptonian biology we've discussed could involve extremely advanced mechanisms for energy storage and conversion. Perhaps his cells function like tiny, hyper-efficient solar panels that absorb sunlight and convert it into usable energy at a rate far beyond anything we can imagine. But in practical terms, even the most efficient solar cells on Earth today can't store nearly enough energy to power such superhuman feats. So, the ability to harness energy at such a scale would require an entirely new understanding of biochemistry and physics, far beyond our current grasp. The speed barrier. Superman's superspeed is another element that pushes the boundaries of known science. If he were to run at incredible speeds, even near the speed of light, he would face significant challenges. In the real world, any object moving near the speed of light would experience intense friction, heat, and resistance from the air, enough to burn up the object before it even reaches such speeds. To move at such speeds, Superman would likely need to overcome these forces. One possibility is that, like his flight, his body might generate an energy field that protects him from the effects of friction and air resistance. However, at the extreme speeds Superman is said to reach, even the protective energy field would have to be extraordinarily advanced, capable of shielding him from heat, pressure, and other destructive forces in a way that current materials or fields cannot. In addition, the human body cannot withstand the enormous forces that would be generated at near-light speeds. For example, traveling at such speeds would increase Superman's mass, requiring exponentially more energy to move. The forces acting on his body would likely tear apart even the strongest known materials. Superman would need a body structure that is far beyond anything human, and even his bones and tissues would have to be composed of materials capable of enduring such stresses. Time travel. Can it happen? One of Superman's most extraordinary powers is his ability to travel through time. In some stories, he has been shown to reverse time by flying faster than the speed of light, or by manipulating space-time itself. But could this actually happen in the real world? According to the theory of relativity, time is not a constant. Instead, it is a dimension that can be warped by speed and gravity. If Superman were to travel at speeds close to the speed of light, time would slow down for him relative to an observer on Earth. This phenomenon is called time dilation. However, this doesn't mean that Superman could travel backward in time, at least not through conventional speed. For time travel to be possible in the way Superman does it, it would likely require more than just speed. It would involve manipulating spacetime itself. This could mean bending the fabric of spacetime to create wormholes, or using some other exotic technology that we currently don't understand. While these ideas are theoretically possible under general relativity, we have no practical means of achieving them. Could a being like Superman exist? When we look at Superman through the lens of current science, many of his powers seem impossible or, at best, speculative. But that doesn't mean they're entirely beyond the realm of possibility. There are still countless mysteries of the universe that we've only begun to explore. The future may hold technological advances or scientific discoveries that bring us closer to the kinds of powers Superman exhibits, alien life, and biological adaptation. One of the more plausible aspects of Superman's origin is the idea that his powers stem from his alien biology. As a species from a different planet, Kryptonians would likely have evolved in ways that make them radically different from humans. This could include adaptations that allow them to harness energy, manipulate gravity, or survive extreme conditions. While Kryptonians are fictional, the concept of alien life is very real, and scientists continue to search for evidence of life beyond Earth. If extraterrestrial life exists, it might be very different from what we expect, with biology that allows for abilities far beyond our comprehension. Perhaps one day, if we discover intelligent life forms on distant planets, we may encounter species with abilities that seem as extraordinary as Superman's. The search for exoplanets, the study of astrobiology, and the exploration of deep space may bring us closer to understanding the incredible possibilities of alien life. The future of human evolution. Could humans someday evolve to gain powers like Superman's? It's not entirely out of the question, although it would take millions of years of evolutionary pressure or intervention. Advances in genetic engineering, bioengineering, and artificial intelligence could one day allow humanity to modify itself in ways that might give rise to abilities like super strength or enhanced cognition. Theoretical advancements in quantum biology, nanotechnology, and human augmentation could lead to technological powers that mimic some of Superman's abilities. For instance, genetic manipulation could allow for stronger bones and muscles, while nanobots might enhance the body's ability to process energy from sunlight more efficiently. Furthermore, if we manage to unlock the secrets of dark energy, gravity manipulation, or time travel, we might one day see human capabilities rivaling those of Superman, albeit in a far more grounded, scientific context. Conclusion: a superhero for the ages. While the science behind Superman's powers remains firmly in the realm of speculative fiction, his existence as a character continues to inspire wonder and creativity. His superhuman abilities challenge our understanding of the world, pushing the boundaries of science and imagination. Superman represents an ideal of human potential, an expression of what humanity might one day achieve through technology, evolution, or the discovery of new, unknown forces. For now, Superman remains a symbol of hope, heroism, and the endless possibilities that lie ahead, whether in the realms of science fiction or in the untapped frontiers of real-world scientific discovery. Through Superman, we are reminded that, sometimes, the limits of science can only be truly explored by dreaming far beyond them. The ethics of Superman's powers, responsibility or burden. While Superman's powers might be fascinating from a scientific perspective, there is another important aspect to consider: the ethics of possessing such extraordinary abilities. Superman has often been portrayed as a moral and compassionate hero, always using his powers to protect humanity and do what is right. But would someone with such immense power truly be able to maintain their humanity? What responsibilities would come with the ability to change the world? The burden of power. Superman's immense abilities place him in a unique and difficult position. As a being capable of doing almost anything, he carries the weight of knowing that he has the power to solve virtually any problem on Earth. But with this power comes a tremendous burden. There are countless ethical questions surrounding the use of such powers. Should Superman intervene in every conflict, natural disaster, or injustice? If he did, would it make the world better, or would it undermine the agency of human beings? In the comics and films, Superman often grapples with these dilemmas. His instinct is to protect humanity and save lives, but he must also deal with the consequences of his actions. For example, if he prevents a war by force, does he risk alienating the very people he is trying to protect? If he stops a crime before it happens, does that create a world where free will is restricted? Superman's powers give him the ability to act as judge, jury, and executioner, but is that a role anyone, no matter how well-intentioned, should take on? The very existence of Superman raises questions about the limits of intervention. In the real world, no individual has the authority to unilaterally make decisions for the greater good, especially when it comes to issues of justice, freedom, and morality. Superman's powers may be grounded in science fiction, but his ethical quandaries reflect the complex moral decisions faced by leaders, governments, and individuals every day. The impact of Superman's powers on society. If a person like Superman were to suddenly appear on Earth, it would undoubtedly change the course of human history. His very existence would force humanity to rethink its concepts of power, governance, and social order. Could we trust such a being? How would society react to someone who could instantly neutralize any threat, whether human, natural, or extraterrestrial? On one hand, Superman could be seen as a savior, someone who could rid the world of war, hunger, and disease. With his powers, he could single-handedly end poverty, protect the environment, and ensure peace. Many would view him as a protector, a guardian of Earth's future. On the other hand, the existence of such an all-powerful figure could lead to feelings of dependence, helplessness, and even resentment. If humanity were constantly reliant on Superman to solve its problems, would people lose the motivation to solve their own challenges? Would society become complacent, waiting for Superman to swoop in and fix everything? Moreover, the presence of such a powerful being could lead to dangerous political and social dynamics. Governments may want to control or manipulate Superman to serve their interests. Military powers might attempt to develop technology capable of containing or even defeating him. Supervillains like Lex Luthor might attempt to exploit Superman's powers, either by corrupting him or using his abilities against the world. In such a world, the presence of an ultra-powerful figure like Superman could be as divisive as it is beneficial. The question of free will. One of the most intriguing and troubling aspects of Superman's powers is the issue of free will. Superman has the power to control events on a global scale. If he chooses to intervene in a conflict, he can stop armies from fighting or prevent acts of terrorism with the snap of his fingers. But in doing so, does he infringe upon the autonomy of nations, individuals, and societies? In the real world, we value individual freedom and democracy. We believe that people should have the right to make their own choices, even if those choices sometimes lead to harmful outcomes. Superman, however, is faced with the dilemma of whether to intervene in situations where he knows his actions would be for the greater good, even if they override people's ability to make their own decisions. This brings us to a key ethical question: does Superman have the moral right to dictate the course of human events? Even if his intentions are pure, does he risk becoming a tyrant, albeit a benevolent one, if he imposes his will on others? Would the world become a better place with Superman's constant intervention, or would it lose its capacity for self-determination? These are difficult questions without easy answers. They highlight the tension between the desire to protect and improve the world and the respect for personal autonomy and self-governance. Superman's vulnerability. Humanizing the hero despite his godlike powers. One of the most compelling aspects of Superman's character is his vulnerability. Although he is nearly indestructible, he is not immune to the emotional and psychological toll of his actions. He is not immune to doubt, fear, and the consequences of making difficult choices. His struggle with his identity, with fitting into both human and Kryptonian cultures, makes him one of the most relatable and complex superheroes. Superman's vulnerability is not just physical, but emotional. He faces the burden of his powers every day, knowing that he must constantly make choices about how to use them. The people he saves are grateful, but they also expect him to keep protecting them, never failing or faltering. This pressure can be overwhelming. His relationships with those close to him, such as Lois Lane, his parents, and even his fellow superheroes, are central to his humanity. Despite his near-godlike abilities, he shares the same emotional struggles and moral dilemmas that ordinary people face. He experiences love, loss, loneliness, and guilt. Superman's vulnerability, his need to maintain his humanity in the face of extraordinary power, is one of the reasons he resonates so deeply with audiences. His willingness to sacrifice, to carry the weight of his responsibilities, and to question his own decisions gives Superman a moral depth that transcends his powers. While he may be nearly invincible, it is his emotional struggles that remind us that even the most powerful beings must grapple with the same questions about life, identity, and responsibility that we do. Conclusion: a superhero for the human spirit. Superman's powers, when examined through the lens of science and ethics, reveal not only the limits of what is possible, but also the complexity of what it means to be human. His abilities force us to confront questions about power, responsibility, freedom, and morality, questions that are as relevant in the real world as they are in the fictional world of Metropolis. Superman is not just a superhero because of his strength, speed, or flight. He is a hero because he represents the best qualities of humanity: compassion, selflessness, and the pursuit of justice. Despite his immense power, Superman chooses to serve others, to protect those who cannot protect themselves, and to fight for a better world. Through Superman, we are reminded that true heroism is not defined by what someone can do, but by what they choose to do with their abilities. His struggle to balance his Kryptonian powers with his human heart is a reflection of our own challenges as we navigate the complexities of power, ethics, and responsibility. In the end, Superman's story is a timeless reminder that, no matter how powerful we become, the greatest strength lies in our ability to act with kindness, integrity, and wisdom. The future of Superman, evolution and legacy. Superman has endured for over 8 decades, continually adapting to the changing times. From his humble beginnings as a comic book hero fighting corrupt politicians in the 1930s, To his modern-day incarnation, as a symbol of hope in a complex world, Superman's legacy has evolved just as much as his character. But what does the future hold for Superman and his role in the broader universe? Evolution of Superman in modern times. As society changes, so too does the way we view heroes like Superman. In his early days, Superman was almost purely a force for physical power, representing the idea of justice through strength and action. His battles were often against clear-cut villains, and his powers were showcased in straightforward, action-packed scenarios. However, as the world has grown more complex, so has Superman. Modern interpretations of Superman, especially in recent comics, movies, and television shows, have tackled deeper moral questions and explored the psychological and emotional toll of being such a powerful figure. Today, Superman is less about simply saving the day through brute force and more about being a moral compass for the world. He is often portrayed grappling with the weight of his powers, the consequences of his actions, and the difficulty of balancing his two identities: Kal-El, the alien from Krypton, and Clark Kent, the human trying to live a normal life. With the advent of new storytelling mediums and technology, Superman's abilities are no longer confined to just fighting crime and saving the world. He is now portrayed as someone who is constantly adapting to meet new challenges, both in the physical and ethical realms. The darker and more nuanced Superman in recent films, such as Man of Steel and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, reflects the complexity of a hero in a world that no longer has clear distinctions between good and evil. The ongoing evolution of Superman serves as a commentary on how humanity itself changes. As we encounter new social, political, and environmental challenges, Superman must also evolve to remain relevant. The ethical dilemmas he faces are no longer just about fighting the villain of the week, but about broader, more abstract concepts, like the morality of power, the responsibility of being a leader, and the definition of justice in a fractured world. Superman in the age of technology and artificial intelligence. As we look to the future of the world, the rise of technology and artificial intelligence, AI, poses an interesting question. How would Superman interact with this new era of human progress? In a world where machines can perform tasks once reserved for humans, where artificial intelligence has the potential to rival human intellect, Superman's place in society may need to evolve once again. On one hand, Superman could continue to serve as humanity's protector in a world that is becoming increasingly automated. He may be the one figure who can bridge the divide between technology and humanity, standing as a reminder of what it means to be human in the face of machines that could easily replace us. His powers, which are rooted in biology, would be a stark contrast to the artificial beings we are beginning to create, and this could spark even more philosophical questions about what it means to be alive, to have free will, and to possess agency. On the other hand, as technology advances, there may come a time when humanity's reliance on figures like Superman could diminish. If machines can solve the problems that Superman once tackled, will there be a place for him in the future? Could AI and robotics take over the role of protecting the world and making moral decisions? These are questions that could shape future narratives for Superman, who would have to find a way to maintain his relevance in a changing world. The very nature of Superman's powers could even be subject to technological exploration. Could scientists one day replicate some of his abilities through bioengineering, genetic modification, or advanced technological enhancements? What would it mean if humanity itself could harness the power of solar energy, manipulate gravity, or achieve superhuman strength? In such a scenario, Superman would no longer be unique in terms of power, but his enduring appeal would likely lie in his unwavering commitment to the greater good, the trait that could not be replicated by technology alone. Superman and the expanding universe. In addition to the challenges on Earth, Superman's journey is increasingly tied to the cosmic and intergalactic realms. As the DC universe continues to expand with new films, series, and comics, Superman's place in this broader multiverse will likely become even more important. In the comics, Superman has already encountered many alien species and powerful cosmic beings, such as Darkseid, Brainiac, and even the Guardians of the Universe. With the multiverse concept becoming more central in modern storytelling, Superman's role could evolve to encompass not only Earth, but also the protection and preservation of entire worlds across the universe. His moral compass would be tested in ways never before seen, as he is forced to confront the vastness of existence, the potential for intergalactic conflict, and the weight of decisions that have far-reaching consequences for civilizations beyond Earth. Moreover, the idea of a multiverse opens up exciting possibilities for new interpretations of Superman. With alternate universes comes the opportunity to explore different versions of the character, Superman from different realities, with unique abilities, personalities, and moral compasses. These alternate versions of Superman could challenge the idea of a perfect hero and explore the ways in which power and responsibility take on different meanings depending on the circumstances. In a future where the cosmos is more interconnected, Superman's role may expand beyond that of a terrestrial hero. He could evolve into a cosmic protector, a figure that bridges the gap between Earth and the stars, defending the universe from threats that would otherwise be too great for any one planet to handle. With new alien races and cosmic forces threatening the fabric of reality, Superman may become a symbol of hope not only for Earth, but for the entire galaxy. Superman as a symbol of the future at its core. Superman is more than just a hero with extraordinary abilities. He is a symbol, a representation of the best qualities humanity aspires to: hope, resilience, courage, and compassion. Superman's powers, while fantastic, are secondary to the ideals he stands for. He is a shining example of how we should strive to be better, to help others, and to stand up for justice. In the future, Superman could continue to serve as this symbol, evolving to reflect the challenges of a rapidly changing world. As new generations encounter issues of climate change, inequality, political instability, and technological disruption, Superman will remain a beacon of hope, a reminder that we have the power within ourselves to create a better future. His legacy could inspire not only superheroes, but also ordinary people to rise above adversity and fight for what is right, no matter the obstacles. Conclusion: the timelessness of Superman. Superman's story is one of timeless appeal. His powers may be the stuff of science fiction, but the questions and themes that he represents are deeply rooted in the human experience. Whether he's lifting a car off a child, battling an alien invasion, or grappling with the complexities of being both an alien and a human, Superman's journey reflects the universal struggle to do what is right in a world full of challenges. As we move into the future, one shaped by technology, the exploration of space, and an evolving understanding of morality, Superman will continue to be a guiding figure. His superhuman abilities may be extraordinary, but it is his unwavering commitment to justice, compassion, and hope that makes him an enduring symbol of the potential for greatness in all of us. Through his legacy, we are reminded that, in the face of the most insurmountable challenges, the greatest power lies not in our abilities, but in our hearts. In a world where the line between the possible and the impossible continues to blur, Superman remains a hero who will always inspire us to reach for the stars, because even if we can't fly, we can always strive to be better, kinder, and more hopeful. The story of Superman is not just the story of a man from another planet. It is the story of humanity's own potential to achieve greatness and make the world a better place.